We're streaming now.
Ooh.
So I'm just curious to see if my audio will be heard. So there's that.
It's a start.
And now.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
There's guys, on your channel now. Hello. Ooh, 13 watching. Cody Leach ASMR right there.
Hello one, hello all. Welcome to this June 21st through 23rd edition of Show Business. Just as we set the permanent roster, of course, there's a bit of a hiccup. Fuego, of course, is on assignment this week. That's what we'll call it because he's doing some homework for next week's episode. But alas, I am CP of WILIscredia, joined by Lindsay. Lindsay, say hi.
Hi, I am Lindsay of My 2 Cents of Nonsense. Welcome to the show.
And we're joined by a special guest to help rein in the Child's Play news is our resident Child's Play expert, Cody Leach. Say hi.
Greetings.
How are you guys this week? Oh, wait, let me get to the numbers first. So to the weekend that was, first was Toy Story 4 with 120 million. Child's Play came in second with 14 million. Aladdin just refusing to get out of third place with 13 million. Men in Black kind of leapfrogged it behind and is now at 11 million in fourth place. And Secret Life of Pets is in fifth with 10 million. And Lindsay, you made a point to note that Anna was in ninth. Do you have that number?
Yes, Anna came in with a grand 3.6 million. Go Anna.
Good timing, guys. Good timing. So to first discuss Toy Story because it's the big news. They were thinking like 150, and 120 is not that by a lot. By let's see, everything that came in second through fourth. That's the amount of difference that they were off on the projections for Toy Story 4. Which is still a lot because Toy Story 3 pulled in 110 its opening weekend. So yeah, it's kind of on par. Are we worried? I hate saying that for a movie that made $120 million.
No, it's a combination of most people, at least adults that grew up with Toy Story, never really saw the fourth one as necessary, and the marketing never really convinced us otherwise.
They marketed this movie poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
120 million with poor marketing. That's quite impressive.
Exactly.
So we've all seen it. Lindsay, I'll start with you. What did you think of Toy Story 4 into adulthood?
I really liked it. It's like I don't know like how it would rank if I was to sit here and rank them, but for what it was, I really liked it. It was cute. It was funny. I know that's just such trite things to say, but like sometimes that's really all you need. Within the first 4 minutes, it was giving me gut punches, a la Up. Not quite as intense, but it was giving me Up flashbacks, and the story was over. I mean, it is a little predictable.
Hold that thought, Lindsay.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to speak over again. Apparently, there was an echo before. Cody, I'm going to have to cut this from the podcast. So, Cody, just reintroduce yourself, and then we'll start from there.
This is the velvety voice of Cody Leach. You could find me on YouTube at Cody Leach.
Lindsay.
Hello, I am Lindsay of My 2 Cents of Nonsense. How are you doing?
Good. All right, so first was Toy Story 4 with 120 million. Second was Child's Play with 14 million. Third was Aladdin with 13 million. Fourth was Men in Black International with 11 million. Fifth was Secret Life of Pets with 11. All right, so Lindsay, as if we never said this before, tell me your thoughts on Toy Story 4.
Oh well, I hated it. I absolutely despise this. No, it's a really fun movie. It's worthy of the Toy Story name. I was worried with 3.
Why do
and
you
then,
say it in that tone, like somebody who's defending, their friend who just stole something? Well,
because it's like it does feel unnecessary. But even although I did like it, and it does kind of justify its own existence, because Woody's character does finally get to a place by the end of this movie that he hasn't been in any of the previous ones. So it more than justifies its own existence, even though it doesn't really seem like it's a necessary movie. I hope they don't make 5. I just leave it. Like, this is enough. I know I said that after 3, and now I'm saying 4 is good, but just leave it here, and you got yourself a tight arguably one of the best quadrilogies. What's the fourth? What's the fourth of trilogy? Is it quadrilogy?
Sure.
Yep.
Alien said quadrilogy. Why not?
Yeah, it's
canon.
It's one of the stronger quadrilogies. There you go, right there. Even stronger than Alien, I'll say that. So shots fired.
Cody.
I liked it. It's definitely my least favorite of the 4. I can say that really confidently. I grew up with the Toy Story movies, so I was a kid. I was the market that the first one went after, and that's still my favorite. My daughter actually has been on a Toy Story kick, to where Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 have been on rotation in my house for like the past 4 months. So I've kind of got to revisit those different parts of those movies multiple times with her.
And now you're sick.
And I think, well, not necessarily, but I think the first 3 are pretty much almost flawless, if not flawless. Like, to me, I loved all 3 of them, and where 3 ended, despite being very gut punch, was a perfect place to end it. So I was of the camp of, okay, cool, I trust Pixar, I have no reason not to. But I don't necessarily think we need Toy Story 4, but we'll see. The marketing didn't really wow me, but I went to go see it, and I liked it. It's good. It's definitely worthy, like Sydney said, of the Toy Story name. It's worthy of Pixar. To me, the issues that I had with it was that I really disliked the direction that they took the relationship between Bonnie and Woody. Bonnie is the new kid, if you're not up to date with Toy Story. Andy's storyline wrapped up in 3, and now we have this new kid, Bonnie. And she's exactly the same as she was at the end of 3. So presumably this is months later, weeks later, whatever. And I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I'll just set the stage of where the movie sets it. Where, the end of 3, Andy was still going to take Woody to college. He was giving away all his toys, but he still had that connection with Woody where he wasn't going to give him up. And she's like, my cowboy. And she kind of convinced him that was like something she like really longed for Woody, or had some kind of a connection with Woody. And he's like, you know what, you can have Woody too. The beginning of this movie, Woody is closet trash. He's the one toy of the entire cast that does not get played with, and he kind of takes it as his duty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm whatever, this sucks, but I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to make Bonnie happy. And the entire movie, they keep reminding you how worthless Woody is to Bonnie. They even have a scene where Forky is outside, and Woody has to kind of grab Forky, and he sits down, does the little like Andy's coming thing, and Mom takes Forky and Woody and puts them in front of Bonnie, and Bonnie grabs Forky and does this, and she's like holding Woody like, and she never even looks like, doesn't even realize that he's there. So that really bugged me. That really bugged me as a fan of the first 3 films, that, it just didn't feel like that was where I wanted to see things go. It's the necessary little jump start to get where we have Woody at the end of this movie, which I'm not even a big fan of that as the ending of this film. I would much rather have Toy Story 3 be the ending to this storyline. But aside from that, I mean, it's a fun enough movie. There's some good laughs in there. I liked all the new characters. Forky's entertaining. I like the Key and Peele rabbit and duck. They were pretty entertaining. I actually like the semi-villain that we get in this with the Goosebumps dolls and everything running around.
They're creepy.
So that was pretty cool. I felt like everybody outside of Woody and Buzz, everybody outside of Woody and Buzz didn't really get anything to do, and I really don't. It felt like Buzz kind of got kind of reverted back to his mentality in the first film, where he's almost stupid. You know what I mean? Like that whole inner voice joke. So I don't know. There was a lot of things that bugged me about it, but I still had fun along the way. But to me, it's a hard fourth out of these 3 or 4 films.
Yeah, I did wonder because didn't the third one? Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a long time since I've seen it. Wasn't there like teases that like Jesse and Buzz were kind of gonna
and they never
become a bit of a
explore it.
thing? Yeah,
They don't even do anything with it. Yeah, nobody but Woody and Buzz gets really anything to do, and the rest of them are just kind of relegated to staying on the RV.
I'll tell you, in a year full of, we were just talking about it an hour ago, Cody, a year full of #MeToo stuff getting shoved down our throat. I actually prefer the way they did it in Toy Story 4, where the girl was preferring to play with what's the Raggedy Ann? Jessie. You know, she made her the sheriff. That was it. We get it. Good message. You didn't have to tell us anything. It was the girl preferred to play with because she's a girl. And there was no sort of dialogue that you know, just made it obnoxious. It was just, okay.
Why is the guy the sheriff?
Yeah.
It's the she-riff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and that's believable for a little girl. She would pick the girl sheriff. But just the way that they had that relationship budding from the end of 3, to me, it was like a rough transition to where we started in 4. It was like, well, wait a minute. You could have just... I was talking with somebody on Facebook, and they were like, you know, I kind of have an issue with the way Bonnie was, and this is going to be my one swear word for the podcast, but I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I saw the movie, and I was like, listen, you little bitch, he was going to take her or he was going to take him to college, but you just had to have him, and now he's gutter trash.
Oh, Cody, if you think bitch is the curse, we get 1 F. You could say bitch and shit. We're PG-13. Don't worry about it.
bitch. We should get like the South Park counter for all the swear words we say. They're like minor, but.
So I don't know if it was brought up, but I noticed a bit of 2 different camps trying to lay ownership of Forky, and there are 2 different camps saying that Forky represents them. I've seen that people with autism think that Forky is a metaphor for you know, manic behavior, and I've seen LGBTQ community saying that Forky is a member of their community because it's a fork that is technically kind a toy and doesn't.
It's a sport.
They kind of shoot down that argument with the post-credit scene, don't they?
Oh, there was a post-credit scene?
Or well, mid-credit scene, during credit scene, whatever you want to call it. But there's.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
You didn't? You could argue that because Sporky's like a Forky's like a spork, so he's like a spoon and a fork. Like he's kind of gender fluid, so it doesn't really matter if he's going for the lady there at the end. Like,
now we're going introspective.
I'm going there, man. Let's do it.
I can see that.
Feminist and LGBTQ theory with Toy Story, guys. Let's do it from the beginning.
I could see that. Like that's not something that would make me roll my eyes if somebody was like, "Oh, he's for us," and I'm like, "Okay, fine."
Can I just? Watch
it's really funny that those 2 groups pack because like. Especially patched in with the song that they wrote for this movie, which, oh my god, the most on-the-nose Randy Newman song of all time.
Wow.
The I Won't Let You Throw Yourself Away song.
Trash.
Like of a career of on-the-nose songs, like I think that might be the most on-the-nose. But it gave me like you know, the suicidal friend vibe. Like, you know, hey, no, I'm going to fight for you to show you that you got value outside of what you see inside yourself and you mean things to other people. Don't you like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. But I could see those other ones as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The LGBT take, I definitely kind of thought that a little bit, you know, as a fork who's technically a toy and doesn't see himself as a fork just yet and, you know, has some growing up to do. But the autism thing was interesting. I mean...
How awesome was Duke Kaboom?
Oh, Keanu Reeves, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That made me laugh. I love the commercial where his backstory with the kid that he had, that the commercial made him look awesome. Like all the commercials we saw growing up, like, this is not really going to happen. And then like he just goes.
Yeah.
I when I realized it was Keanu, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Who voiced Forky, by the way? I see. For some reason, I think I thought Keanu was going to be Forky in it, and I'm like, I don't think that's Keanu Reeves' voice.
No, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the dudes from Arrested Development.
Tony Hale. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, from V.
The mother.
Yeah.
These are my gifts from Army. Not Tobias. God, what's his name? What's his character's name? I can't think of it right now.
It's television. Who cares?
It's television. Okay.
So Toy Story as a franchise, again, Toy Story 1, 29 opening weekend, 191 total. Toy Story 257 to 246 total. Toy Story 3, 110 opening weekend to 415 total. Mm-hmm. And Toy Story 4 did 120. Do we think it reaches 500?
No.
No.
Not with the competition this summer.
Okay.
That's true. It does get a little...
And this isn't... It's got a 98%, but as far as, like, word of mouth, everybody seems to either, like, really like it or have the issues that I have with it. So it's not, like, universal, like, it felt like the first three was, where everybody's just like, perfection, go see it.
Lindsay? 500?
No, that's... I'd say it's not like outside the realm because kids movies always they have weird legs that go on forever, and I guess there's not much else. I'm looking at the future releases right now. There's not a lot of other really like straight up kid movies.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that's like that's like for slightly older kids maybe. But I guess you have Lion King coming out. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah. I'd say it hits 5, but maybe not like blows past 5. Maybe like scrapes
502,
something like that. It's like the paper football shot of hitting 500.
Okay, so to second place in the weekend, and if you're in certain horror communities, a very, very divisive movie for only $14 million, mind you.
Yeah.
Child's Play, the 2019 remake, is I think currently the second highest rated Child's Play film on Rotten Tomatoes,
and that is only because like Bloody Disgusting and Fangoria are the only reviews for Cult, but we can leave that where it is. But anyway,
so Cody, you've had your finger not on the pulse, but perhaps embedded into the arm that's got the pulse. Why don't you tell us what the expectations are, what the rollback is, what you thought Child's Play was it enough? And then we'll get to the number later, because apparently $14 million for that franchise is disastrous.
My thoughts on the film?
Yeah, and everything around. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've been a big supporter of this remake from the beginning. I think I was one of the more vocal voices, at least in our little circle of the world, for it. I've been a Child's Play fanatic since I was a kid. I've said it quite a few times ad nauseum. Child's Play 3 is the movie that made me a horror fan. Mm-hmm. So I've got a lot to owe to Chucky, and Chucky's, Chucky and Freddy are my guys. I love them to death. So I had a lot invested in this as far as like emotions. I got to go see it a night early, and I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit. It took some time to get used to the new Chucky, because this is a very, very different take on the Child's Play franchise, a very different take on the character of Chucky. So it's different. You have to go in with the mindset that this is not Brad Dourif, this is not the Universal Mancini version of this story. It's something totally opposite of that in a lot of ways. So I really liked it. I really liked the new characters, the new castings of like Andy's mom. I dug the AI concept. I think the relationship between Andy and Chucky was the best part of the movie, honestly. It actually kind of shocked me how emotional it got at times and how much I actually sympathized and even felt bad for Chucky, something I never thought I'd say. So the kills were awesome.
How dare you not feel sorry for Brad Dourif, sir? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. So the Carnage candy was there. I've seen it twice now, and there's a lot underneath the surface that you can peel back. So it's not a typical slasher where it's all face value. It's what CP calls the tits and the hits. It's got some stuff brewing beneath the surface. Yeah. It's got some social commentary. It's got some life lessons for parenting and the effects of that. So it's got more to chew on that people give it credit for. So I was pleasantly surprised how much I liked it, and I was pleasantly surprised how much it seems that most of the fan base seems to like it.
Yeah, we'll swing back to that in a second. Lindsay, why don't you tell us what you thought?
I just need to point this out because I don't think I've ever seen this before. On Rotten Tomatoes, Child's Play 2019 is sitting at a 62% for both critics and audience.
Yep.
Everybody agrees.
I don't think I've ever seen them match.
Yeah,
before.
usually they're
That's
like
crazy.
within 2 points of each other. If it's
I
close,
was
yeah.
Right,
shocked
yeah.
when it debuted with a 70. I knew it would go down, but like when I walked out of the theater, I said, "Ooh!" I said, "This is going to be a movie you're either going to love or hate. It's probably going to end up somewhere in the 40s right off the bat." Especially with them keeping the reviews until like the moment people are walking into the theater.
Yeah,
So I was shocked when I saw that score. I was like, "Oh, that is awesome."
So I also quite liked it. I would say actually with a couple of exceptions, where like a plot point being like really dumb with something wrapped up, not spoiling.
Oh.
That was, I mean, it was funny, but it was really dragged out.
Really?
As funny as it was,
I
it reached a point where I was like, oh god, guys, like this is getting too silly. But I still laughed at it, and overall, I really liked the movie. Andy was great. The kid playing him was really talented. I can't wait to see what else he does. Mark Hamill, definitely not just aping his Joker, doing a new thing. Really kind of, and I watched a behind the scenes thing of him just doing a bunch of voices and a bunch of different takes that he did on one line, and then I watched the movie and they used a completely different take than any of the ones they showed in the thing. I'm like, oh, right? It's just interesting. It's well made. I thought the Chucky doll effects were pretty dang good. Aubrey Plaza is always great, and yeah, if anything, I just wanted it to be a bit longer so we can get to know Andy's friends a bit more, or maybe have like a little more subtle build up to, and now the doll's killing stuff, because I feel like it escalated very quickly once it got to that point.
Yeah, you're not really a horror guy either, so like, how were you taking it in as?
So the only Child's Play I'd seen in its entirety is the original, and I thought it was cute and fun and kind of kooky.
You poor little virgin, you.
I know. I've seen like parts of 2. I think 2 is really cool. It looks like it's a really interesting way to
show you.
oh man, I love Drag Me to Hell. That movie's so good.
Wrong reference, but
no, I'm with you. I mean it a pill. And you know what? The thing that I liked most about this movie actually is it reminded me of early Spielberg. Like you got the daddy issues, you got some backlighting, you got like the ET finger thing doing all the abilities,
and the Red Hood. There was a couple of ET references there.
Oh, the Red Hood.
Orion had a couple. They had the RoboCop thing too.
Yes.
So. Oh my God.
I loved that. That was a little. It took me a second to realize. Oh wait, it's the same company. That's why they did that. That's cute.
Did anybody else laugh too whenever he wanted to name the doll Han Solo, and it was like a little jab at Mark Hamill being the voice, and so he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say Chucky?"
Yeah.
So,
Chucky.
I thought that was cool.
I agree. Like going Luke Skywalker would have been too on the nose. Han Solo was like, it made that. That was a very good scene. And then I also liked how like the movie kept like referencing like Poltergeist 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
Like really weird, unnecessary sequels to pretty dang good original horror movies. And now we're watching this here in a pretty alright remake of a beat to dead franchise. Maybe not beat to dead, but an overdone franchise. So it's like, oh, so you're being like a little clever in there. That's kind of cute.
It's like Cody just said. There's more to just surface value on this movie. There's a lot to this movie that not my Chucky people are just really not like they're missing out on, just for the explicit fact that I don't know. I can't explain with you not seeing the most recent Child's Play movies, Lindsay. I can't explain to you how much it's bizarre, because those last couple of films are yikes. But
it's pretty out there, right?
Yeah,
you have Don Mancini, who has written all of the films, and
which I think it's very cool.
Seed of Chucky, it is cool. Seed of Chucky came along in 2004, and that was the first movie that he not only wrote but he directed. And at this point forward, he took full control of the franchise. And Seed of Chucky, most horror fans and most Child's Play fans will tell you, is one of the most garbage piece of trash movies that have ever been made. It has its fans.
Brian Lomax.
But most people put it with like Freddy's Dead as trash. And then the movies basically got handcuffed to VOD from that point on, because Seed was just such a huge low point. So then the first effort by Don Mancini in VOD, most Chucky fans really liked. It was kind of a throwback to the original in a lot of ways, with a little bit of weirdness thrown in there. And then once he kind of got everybody's confidence again, Cult of Chucky came along, and that was literally like half the fan base loved it and half the fan base hated it. So basically, ever since Don Mancini has become the sole voice of Child's Play, it is just went off the rails as far as the fandom goes. Like, you either have people that really like the weirdness that he does, or you have people that are just angry to the point where they're like, let anybody else have it.
So it's almost like the Child's Play franchise Last Jedi did itself. Before Last Jedi, like
I compared him to George Lucas one time, because I've said, like, I nothing but respect for Don Mancini for the films that he gave us, just like, nothing but respect for George Lucas. We wouldn't have the original trilogy, but George Lucas also did the prequels. Don Mancini also made Seed of Chucky, so it's similar.
You're making me want to watch Seed of Chucky. Like, how bad can it get?
You might enjoy it. Like, ironically,
That's apparently what happened with Brian. Apparently everybody trashed it so much that he had his expectations below the jail, to where he walked in and he was like, oh.
Yeah.
Also, I just remembered, I actually did see Bride of Chucky. I apologize. So I've seen the original Chucky, parts of 2 and 3, and Bride.
Bride's fun. Like,
The
that's
first four are awesome to me.
Wait, Bride of Chucky is the one with the guy from Andromeda on it, right? Or is that too deep of a cut?
Andromeda.
The Kevin Sorbo show where it's like Star Trek, but it's like not okay. Too deep of a cut. Sorry, guys. Someone in the chat maybe knows what I'm talking about. I just blew someone's mind, but that might have been too deep right there.
So something that Cody and I have been kind of experiencing with this Not My Chucky blowback is people kind of dancing on the apparent corpse of Child's Play, and 14 million actually happens to be the highest opening weekend for the Child's Play franchise by 3 million.
Yeah.
And there's been comparisons to what? Pet Sematary, It, right, Cody?
Pet Cemetery, It, and Us was the ones that I've been seeing, which is like not even in the same league.
Yeah.
Not even
Us is an odd comparison, yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, let me get my dumb math nuggets for the night. And I went and found franchise totals for the big horror franchises. These are worldwide, and some of these don't even have the right numbers because they didn't keep track of worldwide for stuff in the early 80s. So Halloween's number is wrong. Nightmare on Elm Street's number is missing stuff, and Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw, they're all missing stuff. So Halloween is first with 11 movies, granted, 787 million. A Nightmare on Elm Street second, 8 theatrical releases, 620 million. Scream,
This is total take for the franchise?
yeah, total take for the franchise with worldwide, and they're undercut because we're not factoring in the 80s. Scream is in third with only 4 theatrical releases, 604 million. Friday the 13th is fourth with 12 theatrical releases, 503 million. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is fifth with 7 theatrical releases at 405 million. And then I just stopped there and checked Child's Play, which with its 6 theatrical releases is at 140 million total. So it's less than, it's a little bit more than 1/4 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So they're just different franchises.
I mean, like, Halloween 2018 practically made that its first weekend, didn't it?
Yeah.
End of discussion. So, I mean, like, I love Chucky to death. I love Child's Play, but I'm not ignorant to the fact that even though I consider him the 4th most iconic next to Michael, Freddy, and Jason, people can debate that. Ghostface, Leatherface, Pinhead. I know that it's not even close. Like Chucky's standing down here, and the mountain of Freddy and Michael is like way up there.
Yeah.
So it's not. Horror fans don't realize how not a household name Chucky is.
Right. And like somebody said it in the chat, Scream is probably most impressive. 4 movies, 604 million. That's quite.
Well, that was like a cultural phenomenon back in the 90s. That was like a Halloween staple. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I don't understand, like it it's not Coca-Cola. It's I don't know how to not insult Child's Play fans, but it's
Careful.
It's Tab. Like it's
Tab. Not trying to insult y'all, but you're Tab.
Well, no, I mean like I'm trying to think of something that isn't
cheer wine.
Yeah, RC. Like it's.
I like RC.
You have to think of these things in tiers, and Child's Play. First of all, the last 2 movies were VOD, so the fact that it's even a theatrical release should be considered to be some sort of success. And then you factor in the fact that it's the highest opening weekend. I don't understand this flop talk that seems to be.
And the movie wasn't on a lot of screens. Like Toy
Right.
Story and Disney tend to like sweep as many screens as they can afford.
Mhm.
Not to like screw everybody over, but they definitely do. They did it with Avengers. They did it with Toy Story. I mean, what was it, like 3-something thousand screens or something like that? I don't have the number in front of me, but it was
It was.
it was a low number. And then you take into effect too the fact that a lot of the diehard fans were boycotting this, and maybe some of them snuck in to watch it, just not tell anybody. But
Yeah.
you kind of have all that working against it, and it's already made its budget back. Yes, it still has to cover marketing, which they did an amazing job with, in my opinion. But that's one weekend. It's one weekend,
Yeah.
and it's Annabelle might cut some of its legs off a bit, but they're even taking Annabelle to task with some marketing right now with some pretty cool posters. But
Of the top 5, Child's Play has the least amount of screens by about 400.
yeah.
Uh,
3007 is pretty good though. It's
Yeah.
not like amazing, but it's pretty good.
Per theater average is 46.87, which is not terrible at all.
They weren't really screening the movie, which was a mistake. I think they were nervous about it, but they weren't really screening the movie. The reviews didn't come out until like hours before people were going to see it. I mean, it had a lot working against it. Some of it they did to themselves, but all this flop talk is just it's literally people that don't like the movie that are trying to cling on to any little tiny thing to say I was right.
Well, it's like the same thing. How everything has to be the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever. Everything needs to be an overwhelming success or an epic failure. That's why you got articles saying Avengers Endgame is a disappointment, and people trying to claim that Captain Marvel actually didn't make $1 billion and it's not successful. It's like, guys, just let a movie be a movie. It's like.
Yeah.
That is the comic book movie culture coming in through in spades, because with comic book movies, it's opening weekend. What did it do? What record did it set? And like that's all they care about. And you can't look at Child's Play with the same set of eyes, because it's not about that. If Child's Play somehow makes 9 million or more, we'll call it 8 million. If it doesn't, 60%. Excuse me, 6 million. If it's 6 million or lower, then maybe. But if it's above 6 million next weekend, it's on it's on a typical path.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense for people to do this comic book comparison thing. It might scoop 10 next weekend.
Yeah.
Which would be a success by the regular math standards, because I think somebody brought up Pet Sematary. I had a nice little debate with somebody.
It hasn't even been released overseas yet, has it?
No.
I was just about to say it has not been. I'm looking at the page right now. It has not been released.
I don't know how strong Chucky is overseas, but I mean that's another pile of money waiting to be made.
Yeah, you got to figure UK, some parts of Europe. I know Dennis in Denmark said it's not coming out there until the middle of July. So,
wow.
it's getting trickled out there. So, all we have is American numbers, and it should pull in triple its budget, which, I mean, I don't know who would turn away $3 if you gave them $1. So it's kind of silly. A flop, that's just ridiculous. The competition was quite fierce. Like Cody brought up, it was on the least amount of screens as any other movie in the top 5. So apples and tennis balls, people. Apples and tennis balls.
And I'm curious what it's going to do next weekend too, because not to be vain, but I'm curious how much of an effect YouTubers and reviewers are going to have on people that were worried about it, and they see it, they're like, oh, everybody seems to be saying it's pretty good for the most part.
Well,
and also a lot of parents were, they had to get their kids to Toy Story that weekend, so the next weekend might be date night.
Good point. So as the lone YouTuber that broke embargo, Cody. What was the reaction in the comments section on your highly viewed review?
Surprisingly, it didn't really get negative until like yesterday, and it wasn't really overwhelmingly negative. It's just been a few dickheads here and there, but for the most part, everybody's like either in agreement with me or at least positive with their disagreement. Like I'm actually surprised with how many views it got that I wasn't like. It wasn't Halloween 2018 all over again. It was like, this guy likes this movie, he's trash. I did get like 1 or 2 of those.
Slow Dan Anks says it's big in Germany here, and it comes out July 12th, and it's getting advertised like Halloween 2018. Yeah, we have no idea what Europe, Russia, China. I don't think it's getting China released, but the rest of the world counts too. A lot of these people only make movies for the rest of the world. We just happen to see them sometimes.
Yeah.
We could also argue that like a lot of this, like I guess you call it tribalism around like, no, this is our Chucky. It's not this. That's not our Chucky, or whatever terminology when you use.
There's literally a hashtag, not my Chucky.
Wow, I love it. That's I love the internet so much.
Yeah.
Oh wait, where what was the point I was going to try and make though?
I'm sorry.
I hadn't got there yet. I'm not sure.
No, it's okay. Just people like to get tribal and just be like, this is mine. Oh, people are always looking for why they're right. They're not necessarily looking for this story. They're looking for why they're right. Oh, this didn't set records. Clearly I'm right. This is a failure. It's horrible, and it's dead. And they just want to leave it at that. And it's also all about the hot takes these days. Like anything that can be contributed as a hot take. Oh, it grab someone's attention and get them in to see your stuff, or to see this or to see that. Maybe get the subscriber, or get the like, or the bell stuff from the icon who does things that people don't understand. It's hit the bell for the bell stuff. Everyone's just always looking for that justification for their belief, as opposed to trying to understand what something actually is. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh yeah, we saw that all weekend long. Told you it was going to be a disaster. Most reviews are trashing this. I'm like, most really?
62% seem pretty popular.
So what's strange is you have Jennifer Tilly Instagramming and tweeting pictures of her looking at her news, or the Tiffany doll from the later Chucky movies looking through a newspaper, and the message was, oh, there's nothing to see this week, or something to that effect. And it's just like, why would you throw shade against something that could benefit your sideways? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, okay, it's not Don Mancini's thing, but people know like non-fans just think Child's Play, and they think, oh, Child's Play, here comes another one. It's like it's kind of cannibalistic to say, all right, the hell with that movie, because you're releasing a show in what, a couple of months, a year, whatever. And what if that's the first taste people get after this thing, and you get new fans due to this remake? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
they're so caught up in their own pride that they're not even looking at all of that. Like, I've argued that too. Like, you would think that Don Mancini would want this to succeed, because if this movie makes the money that I hope it's going to make, and it's obviously succeeding pretty decently with critics and with fans, then that can only help Child's Play. Like, that can only make Universal go, you know what? We might be able to put one in theaters. Right. I'll take you out of VOD jail. It's just, it's all pride. And let's be honest here. Mancini didn't want anybody to make another Child's Play movie because he did not want anybody to do better than him. He did not want anybody to have a movie that succeeded more than him, that made more money than him, that got a higher rating than him, that the fans liked more than the one that he did. And look what happened.
Yeah.
So
it's
interesting
take. I like that.
Well, both Cult and Curse combined to make $6 million total, and again, Child's Play $14 million in 3 days. It's not a fight that really should be had right now, because why do that? It just doesn't. Yeah.
And someone in the chat actually made a really interesting point. Let me see if I can pull it back up here. Slow Danks again. He's talking. I guess he's in Germany, and he's talking about how in Germany it's not Mark Hamill doing the voice of Chucky, and yet everyone is still apparently super, super, super excited for the movie.
Really? Oh, they redub everything, right? Is that what
Makes
it is?
Makes sense. I mean, no offense to Mark Hamill, but I'd be very surprised if he had a really, because they're super fluent in German.
Well, that was part of the key too. Like, I think people are pissed because Brad Dourif is so iconic, and such a like, much like Freddy. You really you painted yourself in a corner trying to do another Freddy without Robert Englund. But I think Child's Play 2019 managed to steer that quite well. Listen, it's not Brad Dourif. It's not that Chucky. So let's all agree that we can't do that. That's something that shouldn't be touched, and move forward. I felt like it wasn't, it wasn't something, you can't compare the two. They're different types of characters. There's different characteristics.
Yeah, they're completely different. That's what one of the more difficult things to get used to at first was how different the doll was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Like, it's because they, like you said, that they're so starkly different. Like, the original Chucky is crass and cruel and kind of gets off on the horrible things he's doing. Well, this Chucky is like, he's just learning, and he doesn't necessarily like hurting people, but it seems to be like the thing that's going to get him what he wants. It's going to make them happy. They're very different in a very interesting way. That I kind of want to go back and watch the original one now that I've seen this one,
The 88
just to kind of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell Dom Mancini that.
Watch the first 4.
Watch the first 4. Okay.
Yeah.
At least watch the first 2. If you stop there, that's fine. But you got to at least watch Child's Play 2. That's Chucky Unleashed.
Well, Chucky, Child's Play 2, I can't remember who it was, but someone on Twitter made this point. I completely agree. It's like the best justification for these types of horror movies ever. Whereas, like, they kill the killer in the first one, but he's back in the second one because they rebuild him.
Yeah.
That's so genius simple. I love it. They don't have to pretend he didn't die or just have it still be the same night or whatever. I don't know.
Hey,
it was awesome.
And
it's even easier with this new version of Chucky.
I was just gonna say malfunctioning software. That's still gonna be a thing. So why not?
Mm-hmm.
So which I guess leads us to this weekend. I don't really want to take my pants down for either of these releases, but
hey,
Annabelle Comes Home is being released on 3,500 screens, and yesterday on 2,600 screens. So yesterday is about a guy who, I don't know, wakes up and the Beatles never existed, but he remembers their music and pretends to have written them.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting. It looks like it might be one of those like feel-good movies of the year that you go watch and it's like, wow, that was good.
Yeah.
It does look good. I do want to see it, but what's funny is when I watch the trailer, I'm like, I don't want to see that movie. I want to see the movie where the Beatles really never happened, like a documentary style of like the wars and things that would fall out from like John Lennon never being a thing and stuff like that. I want like that dark timeline alternate future movie. That I want to see. But this does look cute.
This movie's way too soft for any of that stuff. There's no way that's gonna happen.
Nope.
Yeah, like Back to the Future. Like, ooh, I wonder what happened if they didn't do Vietnam. No, we're just gonna save his mom at the prom. And Annabelle Comes Home, Cody, prequel, sequel. What is this now?
This is after Conjuring 1 and 2, I believe.
I think it involves Conjuring 2, actually.
Maybe? Okay, possibly. Yeah. Well, it involves the Warrens.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like actually finally bringing the Annabelle story back to the Conjuring. I would have to rewatch the movie to see timeline whether that makes sense or not. But I enjoyed Annabelle Creation a lot. I really thought that was a good movie. It was I didn't even hate the first Annabelle as much as everybody else. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was the worst thing ever that a lot of people made it out to be. So these films, it's a bunch of James Wan style movies, whether James Wan directs it or not. The best ones are the ones that James Wan makes. The other ones are all pretty good James Wan-ish movies. So the only thing that really interests me in this is the fact that it has the Warrens in it, because it's going to be kind of like halfway between Annabelle and Conjuring. But other than that, I mean, the trailers, the same types of scares that we've seen. It looks good enough. I'm not jumping up for joy for it, but I'll certainly see it.
Yeah, we were talking about franchises before. The Conjuring universe, whatever that is its own
Controverse.
Yeah. The Nun made a whole shit ton of money last year, and that's just based on that universe. I don't know if Annabelle is something that is that strong, but it's another thing that like today's big CU for horror at least is that Conjuring universe. So it's really interesting to see. I mean, I have no urge to see it, but I'm perhaps too old for that. I don't know.
I just think it's a little oversaturated. That's why nobody's, at least out of us three, are really excited, because it feels like we get a Conjuring movie every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, 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 really liked Conjuring 2, and Annabelle Creation was fun, but I just don't. It's all it's getting more complicated and makes less sense the more of these movies that they make, and so I'm just not sure. I don't know. I knew this movie was coming, but I didn't know it was coming now until I saw Brightburn, which. I didn't see any trailers or anything before I saw that, so that's telling. But the guy who directed this, I looked him up really quick, Gary Doberman. He has written Annabelle Creation, The Nun, It, and It Chapter 2.
Ooh.
So he's got
his first directorial movie.
This is his first directorial movie. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
They all have the same feel to them. Like I said, they all look like the James Wan style. So it does. You don't really get to. It's not like the DC universe or something where every movie has its own flavor to it, or you don't really get a palate cleanser in this franchise. It's all Conjuring-ish, and especially after The Nun was the last bite of the Conjuring we took, kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah, it's just crazy that The Nun made as much money as it did, right around the time that Halloween did. So, people are ready to spend their money in different areas there.
People want to be scared in October.
Lindsay, do you wanna fill us in on your secret hush hush screening that you were a part of recently?
Oh yeah. Well, it's more connected to Child's Play than it is to Annabelle Creation, but. Listeners and watchers at home, if you've been to a horror movie over the last couple of years, there's a decent chance you saw a trailer for something called Polaroid. And then you never heard anything about that movie again. That's because it was delayed and pushed back, and now it's been released in UK and other places, but it does not appear like it's going to be released here in America. But I managed to catch it, here in LA, special privileges. And it's pretty bad, but in kind of a fun way. It's like a weird mix of Truth or Dare and Wish Upon. And the reason why it's worth noting is because it's actually directed by the same guy who directed this new Child's Play. But you're right, that description is very yuck, because those are both very yuck movies.
It's like a mix between shit and vomit.
Yeah.
You put them together and
well, what do you get? Polaroid. But like the plot points are so from those movies. Like the kids just going through the thing and they find the old camera and they start taking pictures and stuff happens, very much like in Wish Upon. And then the Truth or Dare elements is like the demon thing is like sort of playing with them, saying who it's gonna go after. It's like because there's an order to it for some reason. But it's just such a weird little movie because, like, it takes your pick. First of all, they immediately figure out that the camera is killing people. There's no, oh, you're crazy. The camera can't be killing people. Like, the moment someone introduces the idea that the camera could be killing people, which is immediately after the second death, everyone's just on board with this and just going with it. And I'm kind of I almost don't want to say anything because I want people to try and watch it one day when they can and kind of be surprised by it. But at the same time, I don't think anyone will ever see it because I wonder if, like, now this director guy who directed Child's Play is like they're like protecting him and they don't want people to see this really dumb horror
Wish
movie.
Upon and Truth or Dare. Let me run out of my way to pre-order.
Yeah, no shit. It's going to be one or the other. They were either hiding it because they didn't want it to taint the expectations for Child's Play, or they're going to wait until they were waiting for Child's Play and the off chance that everybody liked it so they can market it as from the director of Child's Play. And they can get more money than they would have just putting Polaroid on the shelf at Walmart.
Why do you think they were so protective of Child's Play? Like they waited till the very end to lift the embargo. There was no screenings.
I don't know, man. It that worried me. That just made me think that the writing was on the wall, that the movie was not going to be very good, and I was going to have my heart broken. But when I saw it, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I really did not know where the reception of this movie was going to be when I walked out. I was like, okay, people are either going to like it for its own merits, or they're going to hate it because it's so different, or the doll's going to turn them off and that's all they're going to see. But yeah, I was shocked when I saw that it debuted so high. So I would have figured more critics, especially that aren't Fangoria and Bloody Disgusting, would have been like, nope, sorry. So I don't know what the fear was. I think it was just maybe they started to buy into all the negativity after a while. I don't know.
Maybe they got nervous about going up against Toy Story, and they're like, "Oh, we can't back down."
They
based the whole marketing.
I was gonna say no. They kind of hitched their wagon to the Toy Story thing months ago.
I loved. I think that's so genius that they did that. But maybe it also kind of gave them cold feet. Like, oh God, we're calling out Disney. This could backfire horribly.
Have either of you guys seen the poster they did for Annabelle?
No.
They have a poster for Annabelle, which comes out in a couple of days, where it's Annabelle inside of her glass case, but the glass is broke and her head is cut off, and there's a knife in it, and it says, "Chucky's already home."
Wow. Listen, you got whoever it is at the marketing team over there. Good for them.
Yeah.
So many evil dolls by the end of this summer
Yeah.
too, because
The Boy
I guess
2
it's
comes out this summer too. Like,
Ugh.
come on.
and there was the ventriloquist dummies in Toy
And
Story.
Toy Story 4, yeah,
Yeah.
And we saw Toy Story 4 after Child's Play, and the ventriloquist dummies are up, and Emily goes, "Is it bad that this is scaring me more than Chucky?" I'm like, "No, those things are creepy."
It's not good for Chucky. It's good for you though.
So DB Legends Man asked, which movie do you prefer more, Child's Play or Toy Story 4?
Oh man, Toy Story 4 is far and away the better made movie, but I think I will rewatch Child's Play more, and I walked out more satisfied with Child's Play. Toy Story 4, I had a lot of bones to pick with it, but it would be hard. Like I'd give both of them like 4 out of 5.
That's true. I mean, I'm going to go back to an old thing on show business when someone asked me, like, what's better, Alien or Aliens? I'm like, I don't know. They're so different. How do you choose?
Apples
Toy
and
Story
tennis balls, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, am I playing tennis or am I eating an apple?
They're both round.
I guess if I had to watch one again right now, well, no, that doesn't even count because I literally watched Toy Story earlier today. So I can't even say that argument. I guess Toy Story. No. Child's Play. Just because like I'm curious about it. Like I want to kind of see, like little things if there's anything I missed. Because there's like again like all those weird callbacks to old horror sequels. I want to see if there's more of that I could catch. But I do really like Toy Story. Yeah.
Child's Play exceeded my expectations. Toy Story fell a little bit below my expectations.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say based on
There
my
you go.
expectations.
I do that a lot, don't I?
Yeah, on
Quiet, CP. I know what you're gonna say. Like,
going right into it, I was like, "Oh, please don't suck! Please don't suck! Please don't suck!" With Child's Play, and I left like, "All right, that was really good." And Toy Story, I was like, "It's Pixar. You know, what else can they do wrong?" And I was like, "All right, it's Pixar."
I mean, what else could they do wrong? It could be The Good Dinosaur too, but with toys.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think I ever saw The Good Dinosaur 1.
I never made it all the way through it. It was on a night where I ended up in a gigantic argument with the missus, so that's my only tie to The Good Dinosaur. Every time somebody brings it up, I think about that shitty night.
PTSD.
That's really funny.
So that just about does it for. There's nothing newsworthy. Television, the Scream trailer for season 3 just dropped. Have yet to see it yet.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait. Do you guys think? First of all, is anything derailing Toy Story?
No.
Yeah.
It would be a tighter race if The Nun wasn't the last movie we got from this franchise. So I don't think the Annabelle has a chance in hell. I do think it's going to be number 2, though.
How did The Nun open, actually? 53? Oh, yeah, that's nowhere near enough. It's gonna fall like 60 or 70. 50 is not enough.
Yeah. So Child's Play, where does that fall this week? What place?
Third.
5. I think Aladdin is probably going to stick around.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, that movie.
Yeah, Aladdin's going to stick around. I don't know the excitement level for yesterday, but the Beatles are a powerful thing. But I don't think a second weekend of Chucky is going to be more than, it's not going to be released overseas yet, so I'm expecting maybe 5 or 6 million tops. I mean, it's not going to be enough to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a knock to be number 5, but I don't think it's going to hang on as strong as I would like it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Aladdin's finally going to fall to 4th. It's been holding at 3 for 3 weeks now. I could be wrong, though. The Greatest Showman was in 4th place for 2 months, so who knows?
Yeah, using that logic, Aladdin was 1.5 million away from being 2nd this week, so yes and no.
I did not realize that. That's good numbering right there, CP. Well done.
Yeah, hey, I'm math. So that is the week. Cody, what do you have coming up on Cody Leach?
Chucky week, baby. Chucky year. But yeah, we got I've got a lot of Chucky ranking videos pretty much. I'm gonna do a video with my ideas for a Child's Play 2, Child's Play 2.0, whatever I decide to title it. You got that, and then as far as ranking videos, I'm just splurging all over Child's Play. So I've got I'm gonna be doing like top 10 or top 15 Chucky lines. I'm gonna be ranking the Chuckies, ranking Chucky's deaths, and then capping it all off with ranking all the Child's Play kills.
Wow, nice.
Chucky
sounds-
week.
Yeah,
Legitimately.
Mhm.
Lindsay, you have anything on deck? What do we? That's a YouTube channel, Cody Leach. Which, if you're listening on the podcast, Cody Leach and I covered the Child's Play franchise, which is the most downloaded thing on the podcast. So it's probably pretty easy to find.
Nice.
Lindsay, sorry.
Nothing to report at the moment, sir. Thank you for asking. Oh, I hit 310 subscribers. Woo!
Hey, congrats.
I shot from like the high 290s to 310 like that. It was kind of dope.
Like
it was
that.
fun to watch. It was. I'm not even joking. It was like I woke up. It was very, very, very. Yeah.
I have news, and I'm gonna show air quotes when I say news for the people watching. Halloween 2020 is happening, and
Chucky wait.
and that news was dropped right as Child's Play released.
Bitches.
Shocker. 2020, we're getting a new Halloween. Apparently, Jamie Lee's on board. That's the news. You guys excited?
Yeah. You know what I
I'm
want
not
to see?
gonna-
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man. You were starting.
Okay, this is just my total nerd I want to see a crossover between New Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis and New Terminator with oh god, I'm blanking on her name now, but you know who I'm talking about. I want to see the two. I want to see the two of them together going up against Michael, going up against the robot. I want that. I want to see a Terminator Michael being taken out by two old ladies with big ass guns.
Yeah, just AARP folks running around saving the day.
I will not get excited for this Halloween sequel until I see a trailer and I know what the hell the story is going to be, because I'm over it. I'm over Laurie versus Michael. I'm the corner they painted themselves in with that
Somebody has to die.
ballsless ending. Yeah, it's just this. Yeah, there's no excuse now. Like if all of them survive in this film, like just to hell with you. Go fuck yourself. There's my one F.
That's why I'm telling you guys. Michael was a robot with Sarah Connor and Jamie Lee. Could just tell me that? Come on.
I actually thought at the end of The Predator last year that they were going to bring in the Terminator. Like I was actually like I didn't like the movie at all, but at the very end when they're showing the thing that they kept trying to protect, and I swear to God I thought that Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800 or whatever was going to pop up at the end. Like they finally did it. This movie sucked, but it gave us this.
That would have been very
No,
cool.
they didn't do that either.
Dun, 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 dun.
They filmed like 13 endings to that movie, so maybe that was one of them, but not the one they went with.
Awesome.
I'd like to see the other 12.
Right.
So thanks again to Cody Leach for joining us this week, taking Fuego's spot. Fuego will be with us again next week, right back to the regular schedule, and he'll have some extra news on Midsommar as he's out scouting that movie as we speak. So for Lindsay and Cody, I am CP. Thank you. Have a day.